caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go out, man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, right there, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan, if you wanna touch me, please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
Remember when you were in school and the teacher who was never out was out? And you knew you had a sub coming in. You didn't know which sub it was going to be, but you knew it was going to be a sub. And everyone had their fingers crossed for old Mr. El-Hassan.
Why are you out of breath?
Who's going to put on a movie.
Why are you out of breath?
I'm out of breath because, okay, so I have a very tight schedule today. I'm going to do this show, and I'm going to try to make it to the airport in time to catch this flight. So I had to have all my stuff down here. I came downstairs earlier to do all the pre-show stuff, make sure.
For those that don't know, like, you're staying in the same space at the studio.
They don't need to know that. They don't need to
somehow, you had the ability to just go down the elevator maybe a little bit earlier with your stuff.
Here's the problem. The elevators today have been ridiculously delayed.
It's Friday. It's check-in day. You're in a hotel
9 a.m.
in downtown.
Learned that lesson the hard way when I was trying to get coffee a few weeks ago.
6 minutes for an elevator. 6.
Yeah, that's a bit of
it's ridiculous.
Well, one of the elevators is being serviced right now, so we have 3 as opposed to the normal 4.
Hell yeah.
4? There are
7,
8 elevators.
Actually.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Apologies.
That's my point. It's just like 6 minutes for an elevator.
One of them is a service elevator too.
7.
So you have 6.
You're right.
You
7.
really have 6.
7 elevators.
Right, so 6 then. Now.
6 because one's being serviced. There we go. Okay, so 6 minutes makes sense.
So you're out of breath because you ran upstairs to do something that you could have done before the show.
Well, no, I couldn't do it before the show.
Why?
Because I was doing other things before the show.
Sleeping?
No. I've been up till like 6:30.
Well, yeah, we all have.
Yeah. No,
I haven't.
I didn't accuse you of waking up 5 minutes ago. I just said, you said, were you sleeping? I said, no, I've been up.
You should have gotten up at like 6:25.
No,
packed your bag.
That wouldn't have worked because
this is all your design. Like you would. Why didn't you just bring the stuff down when you came down for the meeting?
Because I tried to be on the time for the meeting. That's why.
The meeting was late.
But you were on time. You couldn't just bring your bags with you?
It's a lot of shit. You'll see when you go outside right there.
It's a two-trip situation?
It's right, like on the couch, I just vomited everything there. It's definitely a 2-trip situation. Do you guys want to go deep into this? We can go deep into this.
No,
not really.
A host runs in during the intro video. We thought we had to kick off the show.
They didn't know.
Out of breath.
He was literally performing Stugotz's character in the intro video. It was method acting, actually.
Hey, me, the guy from
Ass on.
Success, ass off, ass off.
Sorry. Well, ass on.
So the substitute teacher has rolled out the boxy television and is about to play Stand and Deliver.
That's right.
Well, first the substitute teacher walked in, and then the crowd erupted in the classroom because it's Teacher
cool
Amin.
one.
Let's go.
It's Mr. El-Hassan who always puts on a movie, right? And then asks you how you feel about it. I say that to say I know sometimes this show tackles some very serious subjects, some very topics that cut to the very fabric of society, the intersection of race and politics and sports and business. It ain't gonna be one of those days today.
Oh, I think that there's an intersection between sports and business, and it's a San Diego Padres gooch.
Tell me more.
So
I'm intrigued.
The Nike uniforms, the Nike/Fanatics uniforms, the performance wear that one.
I think we should blur this.
Hold on. Put a logo
This is
over
not
that.
safe for work. No, we don't really know what that is, to be honest.
No,
yeah, we do.
It's a cock and balls.
Huh.
I don't know about that. Okay.
We knew this day would come.
There's a cup. I think it's a cup.
Yeah.
Did we know this day would come?
As soon as we
Yes,
saw...
I took a victory lap yesterday because we made a bet about this on Wednesday's show. David Sampson took under one ass crack, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it was
under one
half ass crack.
half ass crack. Thank you. And we've already seen balls and a dong, and spring training has just started.
To be fair, I ain't seen an ass crack.
Well, I think dong is more than half an ass crack.
No,
I think that goes without saying.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that transition, that conversion scale right there.
I mean,
So last week,
Really?
Rob Manfred doubled down.
You Venmoed me $1, so it counts.
Rob Manfred doubled down and said, these are performance wear. They tested really high. They wore this during the All-Star game. I'm like, that's not a real beta test. That's not a soft launch, the All-Star uniforms. No one really cares. There are all sorts of kooky dark grays as opposed to the normal one. You can't get any representative data, and no one cares about nameplates on All-Star uniforms. So he doubles down on it, even though fans everywhere have been complaining, and I think accurate. These look bad. The nameplates are smaller. They've moved the MLB logo to like the most real estate on the shoulder blades. So now if you have a really long name, it looks extra bad. It's not a good look. And we saw photos of players tucking their jerseys in, and we realized, oh shit, the pants, they're translucent. You can see through them.
You have a whole minor league system to test these things out with.
I have it as Nike on its campus in Beaverton, Oregon, which is a great name for a place, has a lab where they just have people who pretend to be athletes put on these clothes and then run and jump and do all sorts of things.
Which is doing a whole bunch of things that baseball players don't really actually do all that much. That's my other issue with all this is I get performance wear. You want to be light and all that. No one had an issue with baseball uniforms. Why do they need performance wear? They wear belts. They wear belts. They don't need performance wear. They used to wear stirrups. They don't need performance wear. Half the season's played in like 40-degree weather. They don't need tissue paper, soft, light uniforms. It's baseball. They work as clothes. No one ever had an issue with uniforms. Why are you doing this?
So you know when they built the Brooklyn Bridge and everyone was like, wow, this bridge it's so scary. It's going to collapse. And the people that built it were like, we're going to go across the bridge with elephants. We're going to prove this bridge can contain the weight of these great, magnificent cities we're connecting, Brooklyn and Manhattan. I think Rob Manfred himself should have to prove that he could do a full exercise in these pants without showing the world literally his ass.
Or his elephant trunk.
Yeah, well, you could have gotten Julio Franco to model these a little bit.
Not enough fabric.
But baseball players, as you know, they don't. First off, baseball players, gross people, just disgusting people all around.
Maddox.
Not very hygienic. And
That feels like a lot, Mike.
Yeah.
no, it's
Whoa,
true.
man.
Have you
That
ever
feels
been
like
in
a
a
lot.
dugout? It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
I have.
It's
okay.
disgusting.
Tobacco juice
because they
spit
spit?
everywhere.
They just spit everywhere, and a
Sunflower
baseball
seeds.
clubhouse is a fairly gross place. But also, if you ever go through one, you'll see a lot of ass cheeks. They wear jock straps. And the second that you saw one photo of someone tucking in his jersey and you being able to identify where the buttons are in his pants, you knew that you'd be seeing some dong. And dong you've seen. And now Major League Baseball, Fanatics, and Nike, they have to admit that they're wrong here. They cannot continue with this because it's only going to get
Guys,
worse.
I'm sorry.
Guys, we really need to blur this.
For the Max audience, for the YouTube audience, I cannot stress this enough. If you have children around, send them away.
But this is what...
This is graphic.
No, this is not graphic. This is going to be opening day.
It's
presently.
shaft, head, and testicles.
We don't know that.
What else
Yeah,
could it
we
be?
do. It could be a cup.
Shaped like a dick?
The
That's
cup
not
on
a
the
cup.
bottom. The cup on the bottom is a little bit more rounded. Okay, and the top part is a little bit bigger, and the bottom is a little bit
Stop
rounded.
showing
So
it.
when you push back like that and you stretch out your hammies like this guy's doing, something comes out.
You know what he looks like? He looks like Ace Ventura, the first one at the end when they figure out that Finkel is Einhorn.
Yeah, but I couldn't see Ace Ventura's dick. I see everything.
Oh
here.
no! When Einhorn has the pants drop, and then it was like, look, there's nothing, and then Ace says, turn around, and then we turn around. That's exactly what we saw.
They're going to have to recall this, right? They can't
have
go
to.
through. I mean, I've been saying that. but
David
then
said
Rob
it's no
Manfred-
big deal.
No, here's the reality.
If I'm that guy, I'm personally offended too.
Here's the reality. The reality is, I walked in here today, and everyone was talking about, hey, did you see the dick prints or whatever? And I said yes. And then they showed me that picture of like, that's not the one I saw. There have been multiple. It's not just a like one-off. So there's a lot of these out there. I cannot see that baseball, wholesome, Americana, apple pie, take my kids to the ball games, Cracker Jacks, and seventh inning stretch and all that. Also, I could see a man's dick. I don't see those things going together.
Can I just also add a question I've had for the last 24 hours? are we 100% sure there's no photoshopping happening in this or the picture of the balls?
Now we're into something.
The Giants player. Maybe.
It looks, it looks digitally enhanced.
No, because that came from a guy's Instagram story who works for the network, who was just posting a picture behind the scenes.
Wait a second.
But there wasn't any sort of like photo darkening happening to outline the balls.
Slow down. You're telling me that someone who works for the network,
who works for, I believe it was the San Francisco Giants regional network.
Okay, so I believe that's Bay Area NBC Sports, says, oh, you know what would be a great piece of content? This guy is stretching.
Not the stretching one. Not the stretching one. The one where there's a guy sitting, holding the bat up for a photo shoot, and you could see his balls.
It was a 2-1 count.
There you go. Okay. So
I actually missed the balls
Actually,
the first
2-0
time.
count.
I missed the balls the first time because I thought everyone was reacting because if you see in the gooch, there's a bit of moisture. And I thought that okay, we're going to start seeing streaks too. But that's not the photo I'm talking about, by the way. We're once again putting the Padre bending over. But I thought that people were reacting to a bit of moisture that had pooled, and you can also see that, and that's going to be an issue too. But then there were balls.
Here's the part I don't get. It reminds me, remember when that person who worked for the Celtics posted video of Jaylen Brown not being able to dribble his left hand, and you just got to think
the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, it was at practice. That was the worst part. It was like this is after the shame of the playoffs last year during training camp. They posted the video of it, and it was like, yo, do you watch the news? Have you been alive? Why would you watch this and say, ooh, people will like this. This will be good for our guys. Same thing here. You took that picture. You didn't look at it. You just saw the guy's face and his mustache and just said, you know what?
They're working hard at Media Day, But there's another picture of a couple of Cleveland Guardians talking to each other where it's not just that the tucked-in jersey has the emblem going through it, but if you look at this here, look at the sleeves. These are two men wearing the same jersey for the same team, and yet the seam on the end of the sleeve is entirely different.
This is triggering to me.
Now,
this is bad.
Maybe one of them's wearing an old jersey,
No, it's not that. It's one is on the right side.
I don't know
and
why.
one is on the left side. One is the right arm, one is the left arm. Sometimes they try to be
have been around
tricky.
for like 2 years.
No, look at the right arm of the for what it's worth. Look at the right arm of the player on the right side of your
I love how we
screen.
don't know anybody's names.
I mean, this is spring trading. Hold on, this is spring trading.
The number one sports show in America. We're like, there's baseball
This
man
guy,
here.
It's for the best because we're protecting their privacy,
Yeah.
especially the other two photos.
it's Scott
which
Barlow.
I would not
That's not
want
Clevenger?
on the internet.
That's not clever.
And I would not want to be on TV in these uniforms. But I do want to see Mrs. Met in one.
Hey.
That's so inappropriate, Jimbo. Get out of here. Jesus Christ, this guy.
They got to do something, and it's going to cost them a lot of money to recall this. I think they got to have last year's uniforms lying around somewhere. This is really bad. It's a bad look. It's brought shame upon the sport. And Rob Manfred tried to do, well, anytime you introduce something new, especially in this sport, that what you're introducing that's new are dicks. You're introducing full, and also if I'm that San Diego Padre player that was bending down, I might take issue with this. This is invasion of my privacy. Because that's not just an action shot, I don't think. Someone's going for something there.
Is it a tuck situation where it's like it's down and under, and when he squeezes, it's like, look, I don't have anything, but you turn around and you've got a situation.
I think you're looking way too much into it. I just think
how can I not?
I think that's what the MLB has wrought.
Okay, well, let's move on. Let's stay in baseball, but let's move on off of dicks to a guy who was once known as the most fun man in baseball and lost it all.
I thought you were going to say we move on from one dick to what a lot of people in baseball also have accused of being a dick in Tim Anderson, because he's a bit of a polarizing player. I love Tim Anderson. I get excited anytime the Marlins make a signing, and especially when it's a player
This was their signing. Their
The
one
signing. Yes.
And I've heard of this player. This guy was once, paraded around as the future of the sport. He was a big deal. He had joined us on our show.
Dude.
And then the Chicago White Sox said, no more players on that show.
That was one of the great interviews. I always talk about this show from the perspective of when I first started listening to it, which is after my first appearance, which is kind of weird. But what I liked about our show was you guys could make me care about something I didn't care about, right? By virtue of just it being fun. So, for instance, I'm not a huge boxing fan, but we used to have Rosie Perez as our boxing analyst, and she would come in and break everything down. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to listen because I love Rosie Perez and I love how passionate she is about boxing. So baseball is one of those things where, okay, whatever. And Tim Anderson, some guy for the White Sox, I didn't even know if he was white or black. Then I'm like, oh, he's a brother, okay. And then he starts talking and I'm like, oh, this dude's fun. What happened to
Crapping all over the sport.
Oh, yeah.
It's boring. He's talking about the sport the way that we did and all the issues with it. It was great. And then something happened over the last few years. He struggled, may have had some things going on off the field. Who knows? But he had one very public incident on the field where he got in a fight, and he caught an L. He got knocked out. And I think it's affected his salary this year. Well, I don't know if there's any coming back from the L that he took.
That's my question. Can you come back from massive public embarrassment? Like, as the cool guy. Not for anyone. He was the cool guy. He was like, baseball, this shit's boring. Or whatever. Like, oh, snap, this guy's cool. He's nonplussed by this thing that America holds so dear. And then he gets knocked out. And it's like, can you come back and still be the cool guy after that?
I do think it's possible, particularly with the teammate that he has now in Jazz Chisholm Jr. Like, these guys are going to play off each other. Jazz was talking about it at spring training this morning, how excited he is to have Tim Anderson in their clubhouse. And the thing with the Marlins that was part of what made them good last year is, like, their clubhouse vibes are not that of the old stodgy MLB clubhouse.
Yeah.
Like, Skip Schumacher is a young manager who played in the game just a few years ago. He got to play with a lot of really fun young players. And so Tim Anderson coming in and playing with Jazz Chisholm Jr. and the rest of this team that just kind of wants to have fun and, overachieve, it'd be cool to see him return to form.
Jeremy,
Look at that gorgeous nameplate on the still image that we have.
Oh, those jerseys were
everyone can see that name, Anderson.
Jeremy, I adore your insight as a baseball insider. You cover the Marlins. Show that picture again, please. There's no way he can come back from that.
I mean, this is fair.
Look at it. Look how close. This is literally in the movies where they screeching halt. You're probably wondering how I ended up here. Right there. This is like everything was great up until that millisecond right there. I could see daylight between the knuckle and his nose. Jesus.
Can I interest you in a potential rematch? Because I believe, and I have to look at the schedule here, but I believe Cleveland comes to Miami. They do. Cleveland comes to Miami June 7th, 8th, and 9th. So you will see the rematch between Jose Ramirez and Tim Anderson. We can get you here.
Yeah, I'll skip the NBA Finals just to see.
Perfect. Well, the NBA Finals will be here. So it'll be perfect for you to be able to just stick around and watch
Stanley
that
Cup
game.
Final.
Oh, that's right, Jeremy. Jimmy Butler cares about basketball now?
It's today. Yeah, that's what happens. It's the second half of the season. His trainers are posting cryptic stuff on Instagram. He's posting stuff with all sorts of crazy different hairstyles before he comes back, inevitably looking the same. It's time that Jimmy Butler cares about basketball. It's perfect.
I've caught a lot of flack, and rightfully so. I'm embarrassed with the Who That Is segment that we did where there's a Rockets player that's averaging over 20 points a game, and I've never heard of him. We had a Thursday Thunder in which all three players I'd never heard of before. It hit?
Thursday Thunder hit, by the way. Shout out to
Wow.
There you go.
So I think I know what's happening, though, with my passion for NBA basketball. I think certainly when it comes to the regular season, I'm just taking the lead from my franchise. My franchise does not care at all about the regular season and hasn't for about 3 seasons now.
That's what you're embarrassed about from NBA related from this
I
week.
work in sports, and also according to some publications, I'm the guy that knows about sports, which is really unfair to Jeremy, who works for like 2 of the franchises.
Thanks.
There's nothing else basketball related that happened this week, Mike, perhaps yesterday, that you're embarrassed about.
Didn't watch sport yesterday. What happened? I was watching hockey.
I'm talking about your behavior yesterday.
Oh, with Paul?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. I apologize.
So sincere.
No.
sounding.
I seriously do, because I put people from All the Smoke in a difficult position. That is a brand new partnership. If someone else on our team did that, I would have came down on them. You do not call Paul Pierce an asshole. You call him a douchebag.
He just keeps doubling and tripling down. I don't understand.
I almost believed him for like.
You bought it?
Oh my god!
Really,
for
for
like
like 10 seconds there.
this, oh,
But he is a
Jesus.
douchebag. Assholes on the line. You can take exception to that, and you are right in doing so, and I apologize to you.
You're a
I should not
bad
have used that
person.
language, but he's a douchebag.
Jess, you believe that like I believed Lucy yesterday when Lucy pretended to have watched Blue Chips.
I watched it in school. That was
In
you were my
school?
sub in that situation. They played Blue Chips, and we had to write a paper on it.
And how did it make you feel?
Guys, don't
Made
be
me love
mean
college
to don't
sports.
be mean to Lucy. Iowa lost last night to Indiana.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no need to bring that up.
Well, I
We
mean,
were
Losing
going
to
to ignore
Indiana.
it.
Trying to
Can't
get
relate.
some women's sports in the A block, Lucy.
Not when Iowa loses, we can't.
this was her first game, Caitlin Clark's first game since breaking the record, correct?
Yes, I came in yesterday and I literally told Jess, I was like, Iowa's going to lose tonight.
She did.
I did.
Why? Why did you have that premonition?
Because Indiana lost to Illinois the game before. Indiana's undefeated at home. Iowa had 1 full week off since breaking the record. Everything was just like the perfect storm for Iowa to lose this game, and that's what happened. Losses are important, though. We will be back. I'm not worried about it. I'd love to see Indiana in the tournament because we'll beat the crap out of them.
Hot take, too many Big Ten schools with the letter I.
So many.
That's a
Also,
lot.
every Big Ten school, logo's a letter. We need to switch that up. Every single one, except for Iowa.
I was just gonna say, but the Iowa's Hawkeye.
Mike, I do think you need to apologize to Paul Pierce, though. Not a douchebag. An underachiever. Yeah.
Oh, that's
What are
that
you-
goes without
What are you
saying.
doing?
One championship
What are you doing?
with the big three.
What are you doing? Underachiever. Yo, you guys, man,
I
look.
put you in a tough spot
Hey,
yesterday,
well,
and I apologize
I'm not
to
even
you.
I'm not even talking about the all the smoke thing, which again, business wise, what an awful intro. Hello, welcome guys. Here's Mike Ryan.
Insane.
asshat. Right? That's number one. Number two, though, you guys don't realize this. I said this like 5 years ago, and you guys laughed it off. This is your fun and games playground. Oh, we're gonna make fun of this. I gotta go to these NBA settings and have to explain your behavior all the time.
if I may. Oh, is that? Did I put you in a tough spot? I mean, having to explain someone else's behavior to other people, perhaps executives, because someone on our show said something bad. I mean, do you not remember your Spider-Man gif? I've had to do so much explaining for you, so I'm glad that the shoe's on the other foot.
Well, first of all, I don't know what kind of voice you're doing there. Second, supercharge that, Roy. Second of all, I stand.
I feel like Roy should apologize. Roy,
I apologize.
I don't know what
to,
happened.
I apologize to the people I need to apologize to.
There it is. So I stand by that GIF. I guarantee it.
That's also ancient history, too. I
It
forgot
is.
about that. Who cares about
Was
that?
DraftKings even a thing back then?
Do we have the hockey show today? Because I wasn't paying attention to any round ball because I was trying to watch my Florida Panthers make NHL history, tie NHL history for consecutive road victories.
Did they?
No.
They fell short. It was 0-0 with 18 seconds left, and Sebastian Aho went top shelf where Mrs. Mueller keeps the peanut butter. And the Panthers come away with 0 points, and the hated Carolina Hurricanes, who were swept in the Eastern Conference Finals last year by the Florida Panthers, at least according to everyone except their coach, end up ending this road winning streak. But the big headline from this game, and I'm sure Roy and David DeWerk will get into it, is the injury to Matthew Tkachuk and also Gustav Forsling.
It's hurt again?
Yeah, he took a hit. Actually, got sandwiched. He got hit up high in the area where he ended up getting injured last season. And I don't know what happened to Gustav Forsling. He just disappeared. So they're both hurt. And now I'm wondering how's this going to affect the trade deadline in 2 weeks? What the Panthers going to do? Because I thought they were going to end up going into the trade deadline being patient, standing pat, because they had good chemistry. There was words about out there saying that Anton Lundell was probably going to be dealt.
But Lundell's actually been playing much better lately. And Zito's move lately has been also to – and some of these moves have hurt. I mean, the Panthers around the deadline have made moves that have been benefiting them in the long term, but in the short term, guys like Trocheck going, Tippett, Frankie Vetrano, they have gone on and had really brilliant careers outside of the Panthers. But the upper body injury to Matthew Tkachuk is a bad one. And one thing that popped up on my social media feed yesterday was the Carolina Hurricanes broadcast absolutely loving that Matthew Tkachuk got hurt.
Trip Tracy, he's been there for a very long time, back since Hartford. So this is surprising that it came out of his mouth to me.
Why do we stand pat?
That is a good question.
Roy said it, and I've been thinking about it. Like, do we pat things down? Is there somebody I'm standing next to whose name is Pat?
Pat Riley?
Pat Riley.
I
Pat
mean,
Mahomes?
it actually tracks with Pat Riley's recent approach to talent acquisition.
You're just like, yo, man, what's your deal?
My deal is I'm a victim of what this franchise has done to me, both in raising the expectations, maybe to an unreachable level, and also I don't care about the regular season because their star player doesn't care about the regular season.
You rattled off 8 million names talking about the hockey, including what I believe to be Barry Zito. I did not know Barry Zito played for the Panthers, right? But when you say Alperen Sengun, it's like, who's that? You're shrugging. You're talking about not caring about the trade deadline, about acquisitions, about standing pat. You're talking disrespectfully, I might add, about a Hall of Famer. What's going on, Mike? What's wrong with you and your relationship with basketball beyond like, oh, my favorite team taught me how to not care?
Maybe I'm reflecting what basketball's issue has been because it's not on an upward trajectory. This shit's going down. Like the ratings are up in sports everywhere except for the NBA.
Basketball. He said that yesterday kind of privately, and I was like, I don't like that take that basketball's going down.
Basketball's ratings are also up.
You're talking specifically about NBA regular season, though, not basketball as a whole, because women's basketball is like skyrocketing into space.
Basketball's up right
I think that's an important correction on regional networks. I did not know that. I've seen headlines where it's understandable
the
that
Blazers are down like 60%.
But national broadcasts are way down from where they've been a couple of years ago. That's deeply concerning, especially for a league that's trying to get another big TV deal.
I would argue that if you're talking about regular season basketball, the ratings that are more important to check would be those regional networks because that's individual fan bases watching their teams.
The local ones that went down are all the ones like
that sold.
Portland was like, I wonder what happened to them this offseason.
Exactly.
Brooklyn, what happened to them from last year to this year? It's all the teams that had a massive departure of huge star names. We talked about
that
this.
impression, though. Can you?
Wow. I wonder what could have happened last night. Is something happened? Did something occur?
I'm pretty sure it's
Clueless
20
guy
teams are
who
up.
woke
by
out
the
of
way.
a coma and wonders what happened to teams that he used to watch.
And is a nerd. That's it. The All-Star game. They talked about the ratings went up, but the massive thing that they left out was, oh yeah, last year Steph Curry and Kevin Durant didn't play. So it goes to thought that if you have star players available, then
You're also
ratings go up.
I'm not going to gloss over the national ratings being down because in all the other sports, regional sports networks ratings are up, but also nationally, they're also up. This is deeply concerning for the NBA. They've tried to address it in numerous ways. That's why you have an IST. That's why you have Adam Silver trying to make punitive measures for some of the postseason awards, saying you have to play a certain level of games. This is not a hot take. Basketball is at a certain crossroads here where they have to find a way to change the momentum.
That's why Chris Brickley posted yesterday a picture of Jimmy Butler training and said, it's the time of the season where we focus up and make history.
The Black Ops runs that Brickley does at the court in New York is better than any All-Star game, is better than anything that we've seen in the NBA regular season thus far.
That's the frustrating part is I've seen these guys play hard with no money on the line. So don't tell me, give me more money and I'll play hard because I've seen you do it in much more dangerous conditions with people who aren't NBA players trying to make a name for themselves.
There's like Quavo's out there. I'm like, wait a second.
Man.
Nice lefty jumper, by the way.
Let's take a break. When we come back, All-Star cities. Some changes are coming down the pipe, folks. So I saw the Oklahoman had a breaking news item that the NBA is going to try and change the rules to who can host an all-star game. And it's based on several factors, including how many hotels you have, how many direct nonstop flights you have into your airport, and how many international flights you have coming into your airport.
Yet Miami still won't get one.
Well, that's Miami's
That's
fault.
the
right?
boat show's fault.
That's
though.
the boat show. Yeah, the boat show. Okay.
Is
keep
that
saying
why there's not ever going to be an All-Star? Really?
It is, yeah. The
Because of the
International
boat
Boat Show
show?
is here on the same weekend every year. The All-Star Game is here, and it's like not only here, but it's also in Fort Lauderdale. There's like 1,000 things going on, so the infrastructure is already saturated from people coming to the boat show. It's international,
And they can never move that.
and they don't move it. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
I actually didn't know that. That's fascinating. The boat show, people always ask me about, like, oh, what are the big things going on in Miami? Like, if I want to come visit you, what should I avoid? Like, what days? And I'm like, do not come the weekend of the boat show. It is Art Basel, the boat show, and Ultra. Do not come to Miami. The traffic is absolutely nuts. And they're like,
Can you
"What?"
imagine the traffic if we had the All-Star Game, everybody in from the NBA, and then also the boat show, and everybody that comes in for the boat show internationally?
It'd be a disaster. I mean,
Be
the,
like a Tuesday,
the
though.
20 international flight thing would have disqualified Indianapolis, though, right? I don't know about the hotels, but
Absolutely. First of all, here are the numbers, and this is courtesy of the Oklahoman, so the Daily Oklahoman. You need 7,250 hotel rooms and a minimum of 3 5-star hotels. Oh, nice of you to join us, Mike.
Said I'd be back in a minute. Let me take a leak, but you guys just want
Well, why didn't you leak earlier?
you're doing a thing. It's cute.
Why didn't you leak earlier? You could have leaked 5 minutes earlier, and then you would have been fine.
The Celsius coursing through my
I
bladder.
don't know, man. You should have planned a little better what kind of beverages you intake
All right.
before showtime.
And
he's
we're
got a
back.
point.
All-Star game.
All-Star game. A minimum of 3 5-star hotels. So India, I think, is fine there with 7,000 plus hotel rooms. Number 2, a convention center of 650,000 square feet of exhibition space. Again, I think Indiana's going to be like, oh, we're good on that. But that number 3 is a bitch. 75 nonstop domestic flights and at least 20 international flights. Goodbye, Indiana. Goodbye, Oklahoma. Goodbye, Milwaukee. Goodbye, Memphis. Goodbye to all of you. Mwah! We love you. It was nice while it lasted. This was years of Amin complaining. Finally. You know how, like, sometimes you do stuff and you're like, no one's listening. Who cares? But I'll just say it anyway. And then you realize, oh, no, my words took hold. My power is limitless. I rejoiced, and the number of people so upset, crying that their little podunk towns can't host an all-star weekend anymore.
Do you think you did this? Also, by the way, I Googled Indianapolis Airport. According to Google, only 5 international flights to 5 countries.
There
So
you
that
go.
would be the disqualifier.
Get up out of here, Indy. And by the way, I have a plan. I have a very nice plan that I've established, the Amin plan, which is, hey, these are the cities that host All-Stars. L.A., Phoenix, New Orleans, Houston, Atlanta, Orlando, Miami, right? And then,
We always
not
put
Miami, 'cause
the
of the
Boat show.
the boat show is awfully convenient.
look, I'm just saying.
the Harrisons don't want it.
Maybe one day the boat show moves. Just going to throw that out there. But until then, I'll leave Miami on that list. And then we rotate. Then you get like a cold weather city every once in a while. And then that last year of the rotation, we go international. We're going to Mexico City.
Oh, how can we possibly have a boat show and an all-star game? Madness. I've got takes on Miami's reluctance to host an all-star game, and it goes back a ways, and it's not exactly great. It's not a good look for Miami. They hosted in the 90s.
Yes, they did.
Probably a different ownership group. It's very clear that this ownership group does not want to do
They don't.
that.
Well, I think part of it also their facility. The building isn't a all-star caliber building. You know, when you look at mostly new buildings are getting, or newly renovated buildings are getting these games. And Kaseya Center is, getting a little long in the tooth, if we're going to be fair and we're going to be frank about it. But the reality is, you know how to make these small towns care and feel loved and wanted? Let's start moving the draft around. Why is the draft in New York every year?
I agree with you.
This
This
is
is
such a
something
good take.
the NFL has done really well. They've moved the draft, and the NHL, yes, they moved the draft to smaller market places that aren't going to get a Super Bowl. Makes sense. You're not going to have a Super Bowl in a place without a dome in February, and except MetLife, I guess, that one time, which I don't think they're going to ever do again. And so they've had the draft in Kansas City and Cleveland and all these other places, and it really energizes the local fan base. Pittsburgh is applying for it in 2026. I will be there if it happens, but I don't want to go to a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh. No. I don't want to go to a Super Bowl in Cleveland. I want to go to the Super Bowl in the towns that you just named, because this is all coming from a selfish media member perspective, and I'm not afraid to say it.
It's not about selfish. It's not about selfish. Let me say this right now. If I was going to say, hey, I want to introduce you to the world. You're a person. I want to introduce you to the world. Would I get you in the middle of the night with crust in your eye and you didn't do your hair and you're wearing your pajamas? No, you want to look your best. You want to be at your best. Like, this is who I am, world. It's the same thing for these cities. Like, I don't care how much you brush your hair. February in Indiana is just going to be February in Indiana. June in Indiana? That's hot. You hot. Look at you. Okay. World likes you. But the idea that people are fighting for the right to give the worst version of themselves to the world is insane.
It did hail a little bit during the Golick Foundation golf tournament in Indiana last June.
That's a weather thing. That's different.
It's near the lake.
El Nino.
The idea of being at your worst and being in full front public.
That's like me in 2018 through 20 on this show.
That's like wearing those new MLB pants.
I'm trying to think of like what's the worst version of it. It's probably me on American Ninja Warrior.
It's Miami during the boat show.
Apparently.
All right, I'm going to circle back, and I'm just going to say it. And I know I don't want to project this all on the Arisons, but I do think that
The alarm's already
Fire
going
alarm.
off, Chris.
Yeah, look,
They do not want you to
Stop
say
it.
it.
Say what it
does
is.
not want you to
Just
say
be
it.
careful.
Man,
I care about
this
you.
is a local government thing.
This-
It is. Look, we all know how the local government tackles things like Memorial Day weekend. and
Spring
how-
break
Hey,
right
can
now.
I want to say it. Can I say it?
Yeah, Roy, you go ahead and say what I've been alluding to on why Miami refuses to be an NBA All-Star city.
They don't want black people in the city during the NBA All-Star game. That's it.
They don't want a seminal event that a bunch of black people come into town. Look at what they have that weekend. It's the antithesis of it. It's they've been doing this playbook. Oh, Memorial Day weekend, let's make it a tribute to the troops. It's so transparent as to why Miami doesn't have All-Star games, and it's embarrassing.
But the Super Bowl attracts a large multicultural population as well, right?
Yeah, but
Multicultural.
Yeah, I mean it
Do
attracts corpse.
I'm sorry, is All-Star Weekend just for black people?
That it doesn't matter what it's actually for.
It's what they think.
It's what they think.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, kind of like buying shoes from a particular individual.
Wow. We want to get into that one? Hey, hold on, man. Okay, so if you don't know, do we have this video, by the way, of this analyst on Fox News talking about how the new Trump sneakers are going to attract a certain segment of the population to vote for Trump? Here's a video. Take a listen.
His opponents crazy because even the sneaker thing, I was on social media last night. Very interesting as you see black support eroding from Joe Biden. This is connecting with black America because they love sneakers. They're into sneakers. They love this is a big deal, certainly in the inner city. So when you have Trump roll out his sneaker line, they're like, wait a minute, this is cool. He's reaching them on a level that defies and is above politics. The culture always trumps politics. And Trump understands culture like no politician I've ever seen.
Question for you on that point, though.
Yeah.
Will the people that are excited about the sneakers and excited about Donald Trump, will that translate into them going out and voting for Donald Trump?
Well, anybody willing to put $400 down for a pair of sneakers? Yeah, I think that's commitment and love.
I hope you're right.
It's something. It's affection on some level.
So, Roy, you ready to go to the polls now?
Yeah, I'm ready to buy these Chunk Taylors right now. Yeah, exactly.
Can we get a still image of Norman Osborn from Spider-Man the Animated Series again talking about what the hell is going on his head?
I didn't notice anything, Mike.
You didn't notice anything?
No, it looked
Like,
real natural.
Normal tape, find a new slant.
Is that felt? I think he has a felt piece on his head.
He looks like a pool table.
It's what is that? It's like
It needs a lit roller.
he's like, all right, what do you tell your barber? He's like, give me. If Carlos Boozer wanted Matthew Berry's hairstyle, I want that.
Oh, what are you doing there?
This has been one of the worst weeks for me in dealing with you, Mike. The number of people who are near and dear to me that you've taken out.
This is the Matthew Berry, Carlos Boozer collabo we've all been begging for. What is going on there? Look at the sides of that man's head. Man, TV people are so fascinating.
It's
to
like
me.
Buster Bluth.
Oh, man. All right, Lucy. Your sister called you a very interesting word or name.
Yeah, so this week was National Sisters Day, and I didn't post anything for her. She didn't really post anything for me either, but whatever. And she texted me and she said, "Hey, it was National Sisters Day this week, and you didn't post anything for me. You're a cornbread whore." And I was, whoa, okay, hold up. I had never been called that before. I don't think I've heard anyone been called that before. So I texted Kate. I said, "Hey, girl, what does cornbread whore mean?" And she said, "You." I know. I was like, damn, I can't come back from that one. And I was thinking, I was like, man, like these days, like people send like mean shit to us online all the time, but it's very basic. Like
Yes.
you're a bitch or you're ugly or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I enjoyed being called a cornbread whore a little bit. That doesn't give you guys permission to call me that, listeners. But I miss the days of creative insults. Like one time someone tweeted at me and they were like, "You're a whole wheat bitch." I don't know what like the food like term sort of thing is with
I think
me.
that's better than white bread.
Yeah, holy bitch. I was like,
Healthier.
you know what? And that was years ago. And I still think about it all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad you called me that. I'm honestly honored. So I was wondering if you guys have any names you've been called that's just like, that's creative as hell and you can't be mad about it.
That I can say on here?
Yeah, well, it is Max, but it's also a family show. So give us a PG-13 version.
I've been called Sasquatch head ass.
I love the term
This
head
is
ass.
kind
I
of
use
like
it a
the
lot.
looks like contest that we do on the Le Batard Show, right? Like they're creative insults. They're very mean because they're, making fun of what you look like, but they're sometimes very creative and funny.
That's what makes them good. That's why when, like Lucy said, when we get insults online, it's not like it hurts my feelings. It's just like,
Be more creative. Yeah.
just do it in a way that I haven't heard it before, right? Give me something new here. I once got called by, not once, I got called by Shaq this a lot of times. He would just start singing Arab Money every time I'd walk into a room.
Ooh.
Every single time.
That's
The big
problematic.
No, it's not problematic, man.
It's Shaq. Come on.
It's Shaq. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Right. Sure.
But every time.
Looks like a duck.
Jeremy, you're a theater kid, man. I kind of feel like you had to have caught.
Yeah, I'm
some-
not going to say a lot of the words that have been thrown my way. Other than those that I won't say, my personal favorite is just when I've been called Jew. That's a really good one.
Hold on.
That's
Was it a Hispanic speaker that was talking about Jew?
Hey, Jew over there.
Jew.
Hey, Jew.
You got to be very careful.
No, unfortunately, this was a confrontation on a basketball court, and
Oh, in
Yeah,
your
man.
face? Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, someone just
We're just flustered and we're
they
scanning for an insult and
yeah,
landed
they
on
called
the
me
hell
an
out of them.
effing Jew, and I was like, "Whoa, you don't even know I'm Jewish." That's crazy.
Two things. One,
By the way, wouldn't have been offended if they knew I was Jewish.
number one, crazy that was a wild guess and it landed.
Yeah, right?
Two, now I know why Dan doesn't go to you.
There you go.
I was like, you know what, Jeremy should be more involved. Like, Jeremy, you got something here.
Nah, Jew.
Jesus.
That's it. That's why Chuck doesn't say it.
That was so weird when he spelled it out.
J-E-W.
I'm like, I didn't think this was bad until you started spelling it out.
Yep.
Also, it's not like they're, dogs or something. Like, if you spell it, they won't know what you're talking
But
about.
if you put Jewish before anything, it's gonna sound like it's an anti-Semitic trope. Like if you say like Jewish basketball, you're like,
Wait, Jewish deli would like a word.
Yeah.
I think it's
except for
putting
Jewish,
the
though.
in front of.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to
true.
tell you this. Jewish, fine. Jew feels a
See,
little
that's what I'm
uncomfortable.
saying. That's what Charles Barkley was
Feels-
saying.
A Jew deli does feel different.
Very.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
We are.
And
Creative
if you call
insult.
it the
We
Jew
are
deli,
toeing the
oh
line.
boy.
Dude, I'm
Yeah, I've given you permission. Don't worry about it.
That Jew.
On behalf of the Jewish delegation or the Jew delegation.
oh my
Jew
God.
The Jew delegation.
Yeah, let's find me a way out of this. Jessica, surely you have something creative you've been called.
I don't have anything good. People are not creative when they insult me.
Does that make you feel a little let down?
Yes, it does.
It's like I don't have the smart people hating me. I
I've
have
called a
just
9
idiots.
before. But
If you would like to creatively insult,
Oh,
Jess,
wow.
would you like to give out your handle? Go ahead and send her. Just like a
my
bunch
Venmo is Jessica-Smetana. That's where David Sampson sent me $1 when I won the bet.
I did
Cheap.
that once where I was like, oh, yeah, if you want to send me something mean, send it to my Venmo. And all these people started requesting money from me and it ended up backfiring so bad.
Why
would
gonna
you
get
say
many,
that?
You're gonna get so many foot headlines on your Venmo.
You guys are doing it wrong. You don't put out your Venmo. You put out your cameo at Darth Amin. Request me anytime. I will respond within 5 days. Don't worry. Birthdays, celebrations, bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, funerals, whatever it is.
Jews.
Is Cameo still going strong? I never ended up joining because
me either.
I
saw
sensed a plateau.
A plateau?
Amanda Bynes just joined.
Oh, she did.
Yeah.
A plateau?
Wow.
You know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to do a cameo live on air.
Oh.
It's this easy, ladies and
He's
gentlemen.
doing both parts, Dan and Stugotz today, ladies and
this is why
gentlemen.
Dan
Amin
never goes on
Al-Hassan.
vacation.
It's Max's birthday, everyone,
Call
and
him
this
a
comes from
cornbread
Levine.
Happy birthday, Max.
What's something special about Max you want Amin Al-Hassan to know? Max is a big supporter of you and the show. As a diehard Wizards fan, he wants to know whether there's any hope for the franchise.
Buddy.
He's also a big Nick Cage fan.
Oh.
Okay. Are there any poorly rated Gonzo Cage performances that are must-watch cinema? Thanks. This is what I'm going to do. Mike, I want you to answer the Nick Cage part. Tony, I want you to answer the Wizards part. And let's see, Jessica, I want you to do the show like, oh, the show loves you stuff. All right?
Weird, you didn't go to me this time.
Yeah, no.
Strange. I wonder why. What's his last name?
You're on the bench. You're out. All right. Are we ready? Is everyone ready to do this?
I guess I forget the Nick Cage question, so I'll just do an impression.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Hey, Max. Happy birthday. It's whoops. Whoop.
It's tricky sometimes.
Hit.
Cameo Tony Tony.
Yeah, record. Yeah, that one.
All right. Take two. Okay. Here we go. Three. We ready? Okay. Here we go.
Sure.
3, 2, 1. Hey, Max. Happy birthday. And as a huge treat, I'm going to answer all these questions for you, but I'm going to have the people of the Le Batard Show do it for you. This is awesome. All right, so we're going to start with Mike Ryan, who's going to give you a great Nick Cage impersonation. Mike, take it away.
Hot.
That's it. That's all he's got for you. Okay, now we got Tony, who's going to answer your Wizards question. Tony.
Buddy, Elvin Hayes is not walking through that door. Neither is Wes Unseld. The Wizards are done.
And finally, Jessica. Thank him for liking the show.
Thank you for being such a big fan. I don't think you can hear this because the sound is coming through Amin's headphones, but we really appreciate you.
Incredible. So, Max, you got literally 0 answers to any of this, but you got me kind of holding my phone shakily.
Hot.
But I appreciate
Ooh,
you.
someone
because
just Venmoed me $1.
Really?
Hey.
It's live. Okay. Happy birthday, Max. See, ladies and gentlemen, that easy. Cameo.
Outsourcing your work to us. The Stugotz is strong.
And he didn't even hear it.
And he didn't even hear it. I'll send another one later. Don't worry.
Okay.
Can I get something off my chest that I wanted to talk about since yesterday?
Please
College
do.
football playoff.
Not college football playoff. College football 25. We talked plenty of the college football playoff, but I, like a lot of people my age that have maybe pseudo-retired from the gaming lifestyle.
Explain what College Football 25 is for the people that don't know.
It's a college football game produced by EA Sports. It has been gone for over a decade, and since it disappeared, people have been lamenting its absence, missing it, playing the oldest version of it.
Thanks, Ed O'Bannon.
Yeah, Ed O'Bannon, who got some players paid. They got about $1,000 for the course of a decade, and I saw the spin like, whoa, the payouts were $1,000, but that was also over the span of a decade.
Right.
If you get paid, like you break it down, it's like $100 a year that they got for being in the game. I was actually fearing that people would come out and say, this is an insult, this NIL deal. But so far, I think the number has landed all right, $600 in full scope. It's the largest NIL deal ever, and they'll have additional NIL deals for people that want to promote the game on their social channels. But I think this is going to be fascinating to watch because the people that are really into this have not really played video games since the last incarnation. And as someone that has maybe dipped his toe in the waters a little bit, guys, the game has changed. First off, do not line up outside of a Best Buy at midnight thinking that this game will be there. Best Buys no longer carry physical inventory.
What?
I do think that this game will set a modern era record for physical copies.
Can I wait at Borders?
Because no one knows that you can just download the games.
GameStop?
Also, don't look. Here's what NCAA football fans want in a game: the simulation experience. We want to be able to sim for hours, make it. If I play football game in a day, it's probably too much. I just want to spend 30-minute phone calls with parents and build my prestige the old-fashioned way. But what you're going to run into is there's this whole player pack phenomenon that EA latched onto about 8 years ago, and it's terrible. Don't give a shit about Ultimate Team. My day is not made by being forced to open a Foster Moreau card. I don't like that stuff. I just want to sim. So do me a favor, EA. Make the game for the people that are actually going to go out and buy this, because it's meant a lot to a lot of people of a certain age. I've had this release calendared for over 2 years. You move the release on me. I have a babysitter for the full first week of release. It will affect my marriage. So please, don't disappoint us by making some newfangled player pack Ultimate Team. We just want the old game with updated names. That's all we want.
I don't think I've ever played NCAA football.
What?
You're missing out.
You're missing out. Man.
Two Americas.
This is going to be the least productive summer in the history of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz when this game comes out. No, we are all going to be taking unlimited PTO.
Tony Show 24-hour stream.
And get ready to hear about Sam Houston State's amazing march to the CFP.